Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another trade recap. So today is Wednesday, the 23rd. So far, we've had a really good week. No trades Monday. We took a nice couple dubs yesterday, and then we took a nice dub today as well. I did take a long over here on some evals today, but that's not really important. You guys want to see the actual real shit, the real money. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick. So basically, what I was looking at today ultimately was this PD array up here. So if you look, you can see that this is a 15-minute gap that was mitigated actually twice. So one time here, another time here, and then we actually came up and used it as support here again. So that's what I was mainly looking at. I wasn't awake until about 11 a.m. Eastern time. So that was my mistake for not waking up earlier, but I didn't really see any good setups in the morning. There was maybe one decent one, but it just wasn't super high probability, just based off of what I saw. We could go over that real quick just so you guys can see it. But basically, what I was looking at was this 15-minute gap after the fact, obviously. So you can see that we tap it here once at 10 a.m. And then, let me adjust that. So we tap it, we go back to it right here at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. opens, right? We print a high, which barely takes out that other high. So we create relative equal highs. Okay, and we come back in, we sweep this 15-minute after taking that high, creating the relative equal highs. And then what happens? We kind of just chop around here. We don't really do much. No setups, no nothing. We trade lower one more time, sweep out this internal low that took the 15-minute initially, right? So the trend is bullish. We have relative equal highs. You can kind of use this as some sort of like data high / low candle if you really want to, because it is news, right? So we get this sweep of the low. What is most likely going to happen? Probably going to return to the data highs. So what happens here? So we get our sweep, we get our 15-minute tap. We do also get a short-term SMT here on the 1-minute time frame, and we are reacting off of this breaker as well. But for me, I'm only really looking at the fact that we sweep a low inside of a key level. Yes, we are in discount. The breaker is just, a little bit extra sauce there. So it might look like a bunch of chop, but you can still read price action the right way and still catch good moves, in my personal opinion. I just unfortunately was not awake to catch this move. But what we have here, sweep of the low, like I said, SMT. Now, what can we look for? Just fair value gaps, right? The change in delivery would be all the way up here, right? And that, doesn't really make too much sense in terms of trying to catch a good trade. But we can just look at all the fair value gaps in that leg. So it looks like the 3-minute here was the highest one. So what you could have done here was probably entered over here when the 3-minute closed, or wait for a slight pullback. We actually didn't get the full pullback into the inversion, which is okay. ES actually did. So another gem for you guys if you're actually sticking through and watching this video. If ES in this specific case inverses the fair value gap and the next candle opens, trades lower into it, and NQ does not, that means you could probably just end up buying once you see ES come in and retest that inversion. So that's a little tip, a little gem for you guys if you didn't know already. The same thing goes with vice versa. If NQ tapped it and ES didn't, obviously you would get in regardless. But you can use that type of concept, I guess I could say, for a lot of different things, just like the trade I took over here, which I'll explain in just a second. So yeah, that was the trade in the morning targeting the AM buy side, or the 10 a.m. data highs, and obviously you can see that worked out really well. So that was one of the trades I missed. I ended up getting on the charts around here. So there was a short setup up here, which I'll show you right now. So we swept out the relative equal highs. The 15-minute time frame was still hesitating, right? Even though we closed through the 15-minute fair value gap, I was still looking at this candle on the 15-minute. You see that we actually closed below the range of this 15-minute candle. So if you go on the 30-minute, you can see you could kind of use the CRT method, right? We sweep out the range high. We close below the range high on the 15-minute and the 30, so that's pretty bearish in my opinion. So we sweep out those relative equal highs right here, right? So we have this hourly that we create relative equal highs with. We sweep that out, respect the 15-minute close inside the CRT range, and then from there, all I was really looking for post trade, right? Post whatever, post move, we did get a change in delivery right here off of this candle. So that is your change in delivery. And as you can see, off of that change in delivery, it retested that price level, comes back up one more time here, retests it again, and then flushes all the way down towards the draws that I wanted to see. So if we're looking at potential draws and liquidity from this level here, you could go in the 15-minute time frame and you can kind of see what makes the most sense here. So you can see we have a wickless candle here at 545 and just a lot of low resistance liquidity, which I did see. And then we also have this 1 hour fair value gap as well. And then also this 4 hour fair value gap as well for a target. So I can go and mark that out real quick just so you guys can see it. So this is the 4 hour fair value gap right here that we end up hitting all the way. So that was a potential setup right there off of that 1 minute change in delivery. Another one as well. Oh, also another reason this was a good one was because if you look, 1030 actually opened higher and then traded lower. So that's, 1030 is a really prominent time. Same as 130, same as 930, right? All those 4 hours, all that good stuff. So that's what we ended up getting there off that 1 minute change of delivery. If you did end up missing that one, you could have went here on the 5 minute and you could have waited for this 5 minute fair value gap here to get inversed, which it did get inversed here at this candle here at 11. So 11 actually opened up. So 11 opened here on the 5 minute. We traded lower and then we came back into this 5 minute gap, but we never took out any of these lows. We never hit any of the, we never came back to this 15-minute gap either down here. So we come back up, tap this 5 minute. Now from here, you could be looking for, potential shorts, right? You could be looking for a 15-second change of delivery off of that. So if you go to the 15-second time frame, right, you can see that we manipulate up into that 5 minute key level. We sweep out this high here. ES does the same thing, and I'm pretty sure YM did the same exact thing, but we never got the change in delivery. So we come up one more time, tap the 5 minute again. So now from here, I wouldn't really necessarily be looking to trade the 15-second anymore after that move back up here. If you're looking at it from the perspective of a 15-second change of delivery, we did get the change in delivery, but we never tapped it. So that technically would have been a missing trade. But if you went back to the 1 minute, which is probably the smarter idea in this case, you could see that this 5 minute tap, after we come back and retest it again, we actually do get a breaker right here. So we create a bullish order block, and we actually end up displacing through it right here on this candle, leaving behind a fair value gap. So this is a unicorn model right here. I don't believe we had any SMTs, like I said. We'll see, we came up, swept this high here. Let me just double check YM to see if it did that as well. Okay, yeah, no SMTs, unfortunately, but it still did end up playing out, which is totally fine. So that was a short. Again, I was like dead ass. I think I got on the charts like right here at like 8:16 my time. So unfortunate. I definitely would have taken that. That was a very clean setup. The only thing that just wasn't there was the 15-minute, or was the SMT, which, it's fine. Sometimes you're not going to get the SMT, but you just have to trust your model regardless. But moving back towards the trade that I actually took on the PAs today was this one right here. So as you can see, we did end up sweeping out a 4-hour high, so that's a nice little key level there. Now if we're going to the 15-minute time frame, wait for change in delivery, we did get our change in delivery right here off of this candle. So you can see we get the change in delivery, we open, we trade back into it, we actually retest this order block up here, and then that trades us all the way down lower here towards these levels down to at this area. So since we did manipulate lower and respect a higher time frame bullish PD raise, because we're also inside a 4-hour gap as well off of this rundown. So, it was kind of 50-50, but shorts did make sense. We're in a premium of the range, right? A rebalance is technically necessary before price wants to make a move higher or continue the trend down towards these lows and, whatever else we want to target. So all I saw here, very simple, we swept out this 15-minute fair value gap right here, and then it also aligned with a 1-hour gap as well. So if you're looking at it from the 1-hour perspective, the 5-minute change is not all the way until down here. So I didn't want to wait for that, because what are the chances it comes down? And we also have this 5-minute IFG, which is where I took my first partial at, but that's besides the point. Also, what I saw besides this 15-minute and 1 hour getting tapped, I did see this this breaker, high, low, higher, high, lower, low. So this whole sequence of candles here was our breaker. So the breaker aligned with everything that I wanted to see. which is why I was looking more towards shorts. So if we go back towards the 1 minute time frame here, you can see that I actually took a short off of this closure here. But I made the mistake not realizing that it wasn't 130 yet, so it actually did end up running my stop loss. I barely lost anything. I think I lost like $700, so I think it was like $70 across all the accounts. It was a really tight stop, 13.5 point stop, and then I waited for 130 to open, which was right here. So 130 opened higher, and then once we got our change in delivery a minute prior to that 130, I entered shorts off of this 1 minute change in delivery right here, and then I took off partials here at 8:33 at this 5 minute inversion fair value gap, and then I took off the rest when oh, I don't know what my executions aren't on. Let me turn those on real quick. Executions, boom. So you can see I shorted there, got out, stopped up there, and then I shorted off of that CISD down here, and then yeah, that was pretty much it. Where did my partial go? What the fuck? That is really weird. Oh, maybe okay, never mind. It's because I was on the other accounts too. Okay, but yeah, I took off a partial there on the leader account, and then I took off the rest once we hit this level here, or once we inverse this 1 minute gap, and then of course it comes all the way back up to break even, and then it trades down, and then yeah, we're kind of just sitting in a range right now. So that was pretty much the trade for today. Like I showed you in the beginning, we had some decent AM setups, but that was really it for today.